Hey guys, Ponyline here, coming back to you again with another Star Wars Battlefront early access gameplay, and this time we're going to be talking about playing in first or third person. That will cover the advantages that either have and which one I feel is the better fit for the game itself. So, to get things started, let's go ahead and cover the first person gameplay. Having come from playing mostly first person shooters for the last few years, the first day of the beta event I ended up playing a majority of first person. And some of the things that I noticed is that if you come from games like Battlefield, it will feel very similar to you. So for people that come from first-person shooters, I completely understand that coming into the game that you'll only play as first person, because that's just what you're used to. But some of the things that you're going to notice right away that you'll see with this clip is some of the issues that you'll run into. For one, whenever you're actually shooting hip fire with guns such as the E11, which you see right here, you're going to notice that it gets a little shaky when you're shooting. It's not quite that stable. When you aim down sight, it's the same for both third and first person. But some of the things that you notice is that when you're in first person, you tend to aim down sight more. I don't know if this is just because it's just a habit that came from playing first person shooters, but it's something that definitely showed up. In comparison, here is a clip from the exact same game, only playing in third person. And what you're going to notice right off the bat is how stable the gunfire is from the E11. This is the exact same gun that was bouncing up and down while shooting hip fire in first person. But you're going to notice that it's very accurate when in third. That's one of the biggest advantages that you're going to notice within Star Wars Battlefront when playing in third person. Going back to some of the key features that you're going to find in first person, one of the major ones is going to be a much more narrow field of view than you would have in third person. This just means that you have a much more narrow focus when you're looking forward. Another key focus is that you get to see the actual gun details when you're in first person. When in third, it's much more built upon the character design, while first person focuses much more on the weapon detail. But in terms of the advantages that first person has, I would put them that, for one, if you're only used to playing first person shooters, that's one advantage. Two, you get to see the actual gun detail within the game. And three, if you don't like a wide field of view, then first person is definitely meant more for you. One of the big disadvantages I did find in first person is that when you ended up coming into a situation where the battlefield got really intense and you needed to see what was going on more around you, first person became very limiting. And you'll notice that in this scene right here, when I'm fighting more than 2 or so enemies at a time, I have a hard time being able to gauge what's around me and what isn't. It wasn't until Jack Frags talked to me about some of the advantages that third person had over first that I actually gave it a shot. And once I did switch over, I noticed that he was absolutely right. For starters, you'll notice that right away when firing in hip fire in third person that it's much more stable. There's no recoil, it doesn't bounce around, and this leads to you aiming down sight much less and therefore being able to encompass what's going on in the battlefield that much more. Since it's a wider field of view, you're able to actually see enemies around you, and it helps you to gauge the situation better. It helps you to determine whether you should actually engage one player or another, and this just leads to you becoming a better overall player. I can definitely say that without a doubt. I had my best games once I switched over to third person. On the second day, I played exclusively in third person and never switched back. It just makes it much easier to go ahead and engage multiple enemies at once, just because you can put a precedence on how to go about it. And it's just so much easier to actually control your fire, knowing that the gun's not going to be bouncing up and down a lot. One of the biggest advantages that playing in third person gives you is the ability to use cover to your advantage. And what I mean by that is being able to play in trenches, on rock faces, behind cliffs, things where you would normally not be able to see where the enemy's coming from in first person, but in third person you can actually use it to your advantage and see when they're coming, where they're coming, and it helps you to gauge how you should fight within that situation. This is a good clip that actually shows you what I'm talking about to a T. It's just using the trench and being able to crouch behind and see where the enemy's coming so that I can know when to use my shield, or I can know when to throw a grenade, or I can know when to actually engage the enemy full on. It just gives you the ability to play in a much more diverse situation. And that's, I would say, would probably be the biggest advantage that playing in third person does give you. Now of course there's always the minor things, such as you get to actually see the fine detail that DICE took and put into the character design, the character models. I mean, who doesn't want to see the rebel characters, or who doesn't want to see the Imperial forces? Now, of course, being a hero automatically puts you in third person, but I would say that I would rather see the character detail than I would the gun detail. So overall, my opinion on going first or third person goes like this. It's always nice to have the ability to go to first person if that's what you like to do, if that's what you're used to. Coming from games like Battlefield, I completely understand that. But at the same time, you're limiting yourself in what you're able to do. And the reason for that is because having a narrow point of view or narrow field of view means that you can't see what's going on around you very well. You won't be able to see what's going on behind the rock that's in front of you, or you won't be able to know when someone's coming through the trench to come up and fight with you. And then this still brings us to the other fact that when firing and hip fire between first and third person, there's a very big difference. When in first person, you're going to notice that there is actually recoil within the game. That, or it just feels like it's a little bit stuttery or bouncy. And this is something that can limit you in your ability to actually engage multiple enemies at the same time. Whereas in third person, you actually don't have any of that. It's very stable when firing, and therefore you're able to actually accurately take down an enemy. And then this also brings me to the other fact that when you're in first person and you're going side to side, strafing, using cover to your advantage, it's not as fluid as it is in third person. You're able to see much more in third person and actually be able to always keep moving to keep yourself alive. With all these things in mind, it just leads me to believe that playing in third person will be a much more enjoyable experience for the community. I'm very curious to see what your guys' opinion on this is, and I hope to see you all on the Battlefront soon. Have a good one, guys.